My name is William Stanquist. Was a vice president for programming for Nickelodeon at the time of the tragic event in 2011, and I'm so fucking sorry. I'm not even going to ask if you've heard of Bad Mouse, because I know you have. That sock puppet that was clearly made with poor quality material that looks like it's been stitched on and placed all over other material. That sock puppet that hijacked our favorite children's television channels all those years ago has left me in shambles. That sock puppet was our demise, our downfall. I know you've heard of it, and I know you've been afraid of it. I didn't want to believe that Bad Mouse was anything more than just some sick person trying to gain attention. But I need to tell you all something. I want the whole world to know what Bad Mouse really is, even though it's far too late and many of us have already suffered for it, including me. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Bad Mouse isn't a person. And no, it's truly not even a puppet. It's sentient. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have any emotions. It's a personification of pure, unadulterated rage and destruction. It's a monster that is trying to annihilate everything and everyone in its path. It did all this. It was ushered by unseen force and unleashed on all of us. No, I'm not crazy, nor am I trying to fuck with you. Please just hear me out. Everyone else is trying to skew the narrative and hide the truth as to who was responsible for this. They're going to try to keep just up with disappearances. I can't take it anymore. No, it's not some random hacker or deranged viewer. It's the reason why everyone was hacked. The reason why people were killed. The reason why we're all living in fear. It's not some depraved human being with some immature vendetta against us. It's so much worse. The police had finally obtained a lead right there on the security camera to AD at 10:55 a.m. at 231 W Olive Avenue, Burbank, CA 91502. Exactly 5 minutes before the bombings. Just outside the main entrance, we saw him. It was someone walking very purposely towards the studio. From what we can see, he had a wispy brown hair that fell over his face, and he was wearing thick-rimmed nerd glasses and black clothing. Over his shoulder, he was carrying a large duffel bag. Obviously, this was our guy, right? We were so happy and relieved to have finally put a face to Bad Mouse, but our brief moment of celebration quickly soured when one of the detectives pointed out that they were gone over for every second of footage literally thousands of times and never saw this man once. Confused, we kept watching as the man walked through the front gate. I don't mean he opened the gate or at least waited for it to open. I mean he literally walked straight through it, as if it wasn't even there. When he slipped through the bars and a white slimy liquid remained on the bars, like any other establishment as big as Nickelodeon, security guards were outside at all times. They didn't confront, apprehend, approach, or even register the man's presence at all. When I saw this, my heart began to beat like crazy. What the fuck was this? No matter how hard we tried, we couldn't explain it. The man walked straight up to the studio's doors and just stood there for a full minute, not doing anything. I've never seen anyone stand more than this guy. He didn't even lean a bit, shake, cough, sneeze, or do anything. Then he just dropped the bag, literally letting it fall off his shoulders and collided with the ground below, and just walked away back through the front gate. Of course, then a few minutes later it happened. We were dumbfounded and utterly stupefied. Exactly what the fuck was that? Who the fuck was that? Yes, we all had our questions you're probably asking yourself now. No one seemed to have a strong grasp of what to think. I tried bringing up the white goop outside the front gates, but the police really didn't care about it. They were just happy that we found the perpetrator. Now that I think of it, I can't exactly blame him for not taking it as seriously as they should be, but I didn't want to believe it either. Since every location was bombed twice, they suspected that it showed up earlier than we actually caught him in the place in the first bomb. They didn't find any footage of it. That wasn't until Disney and Cartoon Network reported the same man purposely approaching their studios, white slimy liquid being left behind. No one noticing him, and him just dropping off duffel bags and leaving. This made no sense. No one could logically explain what was happening. They couldn't even find DNA evidence to pinpoint this guy's identity or even link him to any database. The white liquid? It was completely gone. It was like we'd been transported into some sane dimension where we were cut off from reality. Obviously, everyone made their judgments and came to the conclusions, but the police were determined to capture Bad Mouse no matter what. It took forever, but they were able to find him. Before I describe the events that took place that night, you need to understand how much money, time, and energy was poured into this pursuit, because it wasn't easy. It took a lot of hard work and detective work to find him, and what I'm about to describe, we're so fucked. I saw the video, a first-person view of the raid on Bad Mouse from the view of the SWAT team member. They had found the door, embedded it in every very random field. You could hear the murmurs and chatter of the SWAT team, thinking it was the strangest, most bizarre mission they'd ever been on. They did a whole day of surveillance with literally nothing happening. At about 7 p.m. it began. The very silently and the very tactically approached the door lay parallel within the earth. It was rusted, layered in dirt and grime. When they tried to open it, it wouldn't budge, physically prying on it to reveal white slimy liquid caking inside, like a sludge of milk and you know what, preventing it from easily opening. The smell was like breathing in a pure, unadulterated death, like some of them choked back the urge to vomit. A stairway leading down seemingly bottomless pit of darkness below. One by one they went in, their foots making loud squelching and peeling sounds. Their flashlights nestled atop of their guns let them know that they were in space not too dissimilar from the sewer, an enclosed cavity that was covered in white slimy liquid on the walls, ground, and everywhere. It dripped from the upper surface into the men and down their onto their boots. They cautiously maneuvered into the darkness. None of them knew how far they were supposed to go. Their phones wouldn't work, their radios didn't receive any signals, and they had no idea what fate was to befall them. Eventually they came across a set of doors that had been welded shut, so they weren't about just to kick them open. They also had an explosive demolition device. They blew it up, and what lay beyond them was just a fit of nausea. It took them a while to regain their bearings, their eyes watering, their legs turning to jelly. What they found beyond those doors was terrible. It was a very small empty space, like a long carnivorous tunnel they just came from, wasn't spared from the white liquid covering every single inch of it. Old televisions were littered everywhere, playing nothing but static. Some cords and wires that fried and disintegrated were on the walls. Finally, a desk with a chair was placed in the middle. Although it was facing away from the men, they could tell someone was just sitting in that very chair. "Put your hands up!" the leader yelled in front. No response. "Put your goddamn hands up now, you son of a bitch!" the guy who was recording shouted. Still nothing. They got closer and closer, and as they did, the leader grabbed the chair and swiveled around. Quickly he backed up slowly, and the chair turned to reveal what should have been the man, the bomber, Bad Mouse. But one look told the SWAT team that something was very, very wrong. Hollow, that was the best way to describe it. Flat skin, no bones, no muscle to speak of, unnaturally pale skin, completely naked, sunken features, bleached white hair, dark veins all over its body, and white liquid dripping from every orifice onto the ground. It didn't move, it didn't pulse or quiver or twitch, just a flesh blanket draped over an eternal void, a mindless husk, a meat sack. What the fuck? The guy recording whispered to himself, before he can muster something else. The faint sound of wet, sloppy chewing sound can be heard from somewhere. Very noticeably frightened, The men tried to locate the source of the new noise. They turned to their left, nothing, and they turned to their right. At first, they couldn't even comprehend what exactly they were looking at, and neither could I. It looked like some sort of mouse, but it wasn't a normal one, not one bit. It looked almost exactly like the puppet we've learned to hate. I almost say for a reason, because that thing was not a fucking puppet. At least not anymore. Part of it seemed organic, and another part of it seemed handcrafted meat, fur, and flesh mixed with paper and glue. It was white as snow, remarkably clean considering the circumstances, and stood about a foot and tall. It was eating something indescribable, biting and ripping chunks out of it. A gray tail swung behind it. The SWAT team weren't exactly sure what to do next. They looked at it for a moment, staring in absolute horror at this thing that may or may not have been Bad Mouse. That was eating something, but they weren't able to speculate that. The leader raised his pistol in the air, ready to shoot at the monster. Bad Mouse? Suddenly the thing stopped chewing and it stared at them, the white liquid leaking out of its mouth. The leader took a step forward, trying to be as quiet as possible. Bad Mouse dropped whatever it was eating, which fell to the floor with a loud thud. It rolled on the ground right next to the leader's feet. A bit of meaty flesh stuck to his shoe. "What the fuck are you?" Initially, there was no response. The silence was deafening. The leader was about to turn back to his team when the thing finally spoke in an awesome familiar voice. "Hey guys, it's me, Bad Mouse." That fucking voice was the same exact one from when I got those damn packages all the way back in 2009. Every single tape started like that. "Hey guys, it's me, Bad Mouse." The SWAT team was absolutely terrified, and so was I. No one had said anything. Slowly, Bad Mouse started walking towards them with this strange mouse-like gait, left harsh footprints in the white liquid, reached out from its arms. "I'll be teaching you all about..." Then the man began to get tense, backing up in fright. "Stay back," the leader yelled, and it was he who, in the moment of horrible desperation, let out a single shot from his pistol. A burst of light shone within the chamber, but the shot didn't exactly land. Well, it did, but it didn't hurt Bad Mouse. It just made the thing stop in its tracks. The bullet slid out and fell to the ground, covering like white liquid as it began to melt. Bad Mouse's paper flesh began to fix and reattach itself where the bullet had connected. Horrified, the leader didn't even bother trying to shoot more. He knew what would happen. Instead, he silently gave orders to abandon the mission. In another scenario, what would be preposterous, abandoning the mission was against everything they stood for. But this was absolutely a warrant. But when the leader turned around to give one final order, all hell suddenly broke loose. Out of nowhere, Bad Mouse launched himself at him with a horrific, high-pitched shriek, attaching itself to the leader's helmet. The SWAT team went from terrified to downright livid, raising their guns and trying to take aim at the bizarre monstrosity. The leader screamed in absolute terror as Bad Mouse broke his helmet. Everyone watched in disgust and shocked as it began to crawl and wriggle its way down the leader's throat. He gagged, coughed, spat, but couldn't seem to get Bad Mouse out. Blood and mucus began to trickle from his nose and mouth, which was soon accompanied by the white liquid pouring out in gallons. The rest of the SWAT team could see Bad Mouse's outline as it clawed down into the leader's stomach. Suddenly, the breathing stopped and he fell to the back with a bang. Silence, and then exploded out of the leader's stomach, shooting out blood and meat everywhere. Flying through the air, it attached itself to another member. The SWAT team opened fire. Splitting the thing in half was a very good shot, but it didn't do too much damage, and while it left trails of white liquid all over them, it split Bad Mouse in half. Wailing in pain, Bad Mouse crawled very quickly over to the hollow body sitting on the chair. It clawed its way up to the mouth and pried it open, and crawled its way inside. Once inside, the hollow body began pulsating, spasming, and flailing about as it gained its insides back as if inflating like a balloon, with blood, meat, and guts and bile covering it. The hollowed man stood back up, its body now full to the brim with flesh, skin, muscles, and organs. It stood up and gave a slow, sickening grin, no emotion or thought behind it. What followed next was just, I've never seen such pure chaos, mayhem, pandemonium, all of that. I'm not going to describe what exactly I saw. Just from the description, you can imagine what exactly was going on. My throat felt like it was going to burst. I was having trouble keeping it in. And yeah, I vomited. My heart was absolutely broken for them. The guy recording was long dead at this point, torn apart from millions of pieces and forced down Bad Mouse's gullet. His camera kept recording, static overcoming the feed as the last man alive tried desperately to escape that wicked place. Bad Mouse just pounced on top of him, ripping and biting into his flesh, eating him alive. His screams died out, and there was nothing, just silence. Everything was devoid of existence. There was nothing but death. Bad Mouse stood back up, remaining where it was for a good long time. The video feed waved and jittered, lagging as Bad Mouse slowly turned around and was beginning to step in towards the camera. It picked up the camera, holding it right up to its face, staring right at us. I saw one of its eyes beginning to leak out off its face. It simply wiped away, letting it fall its gangly fingers onto the ground. Then it spoke right to us, in that fucking voice I've become so accustomed to. You're all part of me. Every channel, everyone in front of this screen is part of my broadcast. All of you, my victims, and I'm going to torture every one of you for eternity. I'm going to do everything to torment you until the end of time. There will be no end. The video abruptly cut off as if someone finally ripped it from the recording device. As it stands, all those men are dead, every single one of them. They were never found. Their bodies were never recovered. Even the place where Bad Mouse was found is nowhere to be found. It's like just gone. Proof. Vanish. I've tried to figure out what that thing was, what this monster was, if it's a human, an alien, a demented god, but there's just nothing. I can't even say what it is, what Bad Mouse is, and what it is capable of. Like everyone else, I wanted to believe that this was a deranged human that was able to make a disturbing and bizarre puppet. That's what I wanted to believe in, because I thought if we found that guy, he would be able to answer everything. We are going to capture this guy and lock him up in a padded cell, and then we are going to just forget about Bad Mouse. We're going to erase him from history. But what we know now is very strong and wrong. What happened to that place? If anyone has any answers for me, I'm desperate for answers. I have a whole lot of questions. I'm just so angry, frightened. The whole world isn't... Nothing's right. Something just seems so wrong. I know we're the bad guys for not telling everyone the truth, but you all witch hunters out there, what would you have done in your position? None of us would have believed us, so what's the point? This is a warning on my part. Expand your mind, or you can keep believing what you want to believe. Your cynical, short-ordered view of reality. See where it gets you. Because I gotta tell you, between you and me, when we first saw that hollow plant in the first bomb, I swear for a brief second I saw his face morph into that mouse. After that, I never looked back.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.